Hello and welcome to the Thought Leader Recruitment podcast. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Sam Gibson, co-founder of Zero Hiring. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here, Sam. Sam, for those who haven't come across Zero Hiring yet, what is the core idea behind it, and what was the kind of aha moment that kind of led you to start this company?
Yeah, I mean, zero hiring for us was a culmination of frustrations in the market. We've seen a lot of larger clients either having to set up their own internal team or go to external search firms. None of which really were sort of helping them out, sort of end to end as an internal service. So we thought we'd set up a company that does exactly that, where an external internal team that gives all of our clients everything that they need to recruit, from their ATS to their staff to all of their overheads covered, essentially. So it's trying to be the third option, right? There wasn't a third option, and we created it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think when we talked before, you mentioned aiming to reduce the time to hire from 60 days to 48 hours. Walk us through how Zero does that.
Yeah, so the main premise on how we're reducing time to hire, I mean, we started out and it was 57.5 days, just the industry average. Late last year, we got it down to 27.5, and then now we're at 18.6. And we've done this primarily through AI automation. So we've just built and implemented a lot of AI tech to optimize mainly top of funnel, but funnel throughout, essentially. And then streamline components within a standard recruitment process or a normal recruitment process, if you like, to take redundant points of contact out. So the human process is quicker, and then it's enabled by AI to supercharge it.
And the AI avatars sound incredible. How do they replicate the recruiter and hiring managers' conversations?
So we can program AI to essentially take on your likeness or a hiring manager's likeness. So you go onto the platform, it records your likeness through your webcam, and it gets you to say a few phrases and record your voice and can replicate you that way. But we can program them however we want in terms of persona. So we can give them your background as a person, where you've come from, where you studied, your experiences, your personality, all of that sort of stuff. But essentially, our avatars can join a Zoom, a Google Meets call, or any other, Outlook or whatever you like to use call, and essentially interview the candidate. And it's all sort of pre-built software, but it's conversational. So you can have a conversation with these things outside of the recruitment script. It's not stringent to is the sky blue, is white, is black. You can really go off the course and have a human conversation. That was the whole goal, to make these avatars as human as possible. So long-winded answer to your question, but it deserves one. But yeah, they can just join a call like we have today, an interview based on nothing more than a CV and a job description.
Yeah, and I can actually vouch for this because I've tested it, and yeah, it's super impressive. Does Zero integrate with existing ATS systems, or does it replace them altogether?
Yeah, so we integrate at the minute with Workable, Greenhouse, and Workday. We are working on others, but as we grow as a business, like I've mentioned a few times in different settings, Zero's goal is to automate recruitment end to end. That's the future, and we want to be ahead of it. So that is our long-term vision, if you like, our 5-year plan. So at some point, we'll create our own ATS, but we'll always have functionality with other ATSs as well. So the goal is, the leading 5 or the leading 10 ATSs that we'll adapt with, but at the minute it's Greenhouse, Workable, and
What kind of AI or machine learning models power the avatars and the decision-making process?
it's a culmination of about 7 different models that we use, but we use LiveKit, HeyGen, and Tavis in the back end primarily. We have got some proprietary code hidden back there as well, but in terms of the engines that run these things, majority is on Tavis now.
Right. Okay. And are clients initially skeptical about using AI in such a human-centric task, or how do you help them kind of cross that kind of trust gap?
Yeah, I mean, it's new technology, right? I'm sure when people went from the horse and cart to the car, people were skeptical. Right? These things are dangerous and they go too fast and that sort of stuff. So yes, there's trepidation there, but that's our job as innovators to educate. And the best way to do that is exactly what I did with yourself. I give you a free demo. I said, try it out, see what you think. Is this something that you would like to use in your own business? Could you see it being helpful? And if that's a yes, then we go forward and implement it. And 9 times out of 10, it is. As I mentioned previously, we've got these models to such a good point now where you can realistically see in 3 to 4 months, there's not going to be much distinction between a human and one of these avatars in terms of the speed of progress. But primarily, we just give clients the tech and let them make the choice. You know, we're completely transparent as a company and just say, look, here it is. Do you want to use it?
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And what types of businesses benefit most from zero hiring right now?
High volume, anything high volume. So sales environment, product led environments, any big marketing teams. The majority of businesses that we work with now are large sales environments or large customer services environments because the churn is just so high. And a lot of big businesses, they will hit a churn number to where they're stagnant in growth. They can't grow past that churn because it's so high. So you have to implement some sort of automation or AI to get past that at that point. So it really benefits them. And you know yourself, you know, recruitment's not cheap at the best of times, even if you've got an internal team, because you've got the other problem then of completely replacing staff every 6 to 8 months or whenever they decide to turn over.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what's the reception been like from enterprise clients versus, say, mid market clients?
Interestingly enough, and I didn't think it would go this way, enterprise clients are happier to try new tech than smaller businesses, which again, I thought it would be the opposite, but I think a lot of enterprises can see this is where recruitment's going and they value that the biggest detractor in recruitment is human wait time. It's the time that humans take to book in the next stage of a process or just to book in a process at all. Whereas smaller companies, like this is new tech, we're a family-led business and we like to do things face to face, and it's a bit more difficult that way. But yeah, enterprises have been great about it. You know, we just recently signed a client this week, and they were one of the clients that were like, "Hey, look, we're either going to build avatars or you're going to give us them. Which one's it going to be?" So they're more pushing us down that path now, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned last time we spoke, you recently signed companies with over 10,000 employees. What was a turning point for them, do you think?
The turning point for that particular client was they'd been through a few service providers before. They'd been through RPOs, they'd tried to build their own internal team, and then they tried sort of a PSL of external search firms. And none of them firms really worked, and the internal team didn't work because either it was too costly or they didn't understand the company's culture. They're not difficult roles to fill, but they're obscure without giving who it is away. So you'd really need to embed yourself within the client and really be a part of their team and a part of their world to understand exactly what they need. And that could change from state to state. So I think again, why we set up zero, either it's too expensive, they're not embedded enough, they're not ingrained enough, or they just don't care enough. That's what we're seeing across the board, and that's what we try to fulfill. Is we hit the price point on the head and make it attractive enough for people to want to use, and then give all the bells and whistles to
Yeah,
make them have a great experience. You know.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. And do you see a future where zero completely removes the need for recruitment agencies?
Yes, that was probably annoy quite a few people who watch some of these videos, but hey ho, that's the way of the world. Yes, that was our primary goal. When I set up Zero, the primary goal was to eradicate exec search firms. I think in the future it will be a luxury. I think there will be boutique firms that do really hard to fill roles like C-level searches and really obscure roles. Like we had a client that came to us for nuclear physicists in God knows where in Russia. So it's really, really, really obscure roles. So I think there'll be a need in the future in that capacity. But I think For your general search, I think it will all be automated, whether it's Xero or another firm. I think it will be the company that at least pushes that on a little bit, and hopefully it does.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what updates or features are you most excited to launch next?
Well, the avatars aren't launched fully yet, so I'm really excited to get that on for obvious reasons. And we've just got them to where they can actually join a Zoom call like any other human can. So that was a big leap forward. And we've just got them to the point where they can recognize you and what you're wearing in your background, and that was quite a big leap forward. All the rest is quite small stuff. We've done auto scheduling. That's pretty much done. Top of funnel, we've got to 96.9%. So that's pretty much done. So all that's left is a lot of small stuff now. I think the next big one to fall, and I know a lot of people are working on it, including us, is preemptive outreach through LinkedIn. So your general LinkedIn headhunting to make that really, really good. It hasn't been done yet, but again, we're working on it, and I know a lot of other people are as well.
Interesting. And for businesses curious about Xero, where should they start?
Zerohiring.com. Nice and easy. Yeah.
And if someone wants to, test one of your avatars or see it in action, what's the next best step for that?
Yeah, they can book in a call with our sales director, Ken Harvey, and he will get them across a demo. Yeah, it's free game to anybody, whether they want to use it or not. If people just want to check it out and check what's new in the recruitment space, feel free to book a call in with Ken, and he'll hook you up with a demo.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Sam. This has been really, really fascinating. Something I'm really kind of excited about and passionate about myself. Really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks again for being on the show. And yeah, hopefully speak to you soon.
Yep, you're more than welcome. Thanks for your time, Sam. All the best.
Cheers.